All right, what's up, everybody? It's your man's KJ the Great, dropping another edition of All Sports Media TV. And today I got my man's Quincy come through All Sports Media TV. We're going to break down and give our final predictions over Spence versus Crawford. Undisputed welterweight showdown going down on July 29th, this Saturday. Biggest fight in boxing. How you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling good. How about yourself?
I'm all right, man. So, ready to get into this. I got kind of
Yes,
some
sir.
highlights going on in the background and stuff right now. Um, so I know you favoring Crawford more than Spence. So, and a
Yeah,
lot of that's either way, it's not wrong. I don't. I tell everybody there's no wrong to it.
right,
Um,
right.
Hands down, it is probably the 50-50 fight of the year. Um, a lot of people were saying like. Javante Davis and Ryan Garcia was the biggest 50-50 fight, but in my opinion, Ryan Garcia he just wasn't ready for Tank. And as we see, he wasn't ready. So
Right.
um give me your take on, you know, how you feel the fight will go and play out and ultimately what you feel how it will end.
Okay, I'm gonna start by saying I really feel like this fight should have happened 5 years ago.
So, yeah,
Um,
yeah. But
um,
the significance behind it though is undisputed. That's why it didn't happen.
right, right, correct. Um, I'm favoring Bud more so because I feel like he's hungrier. I feel like this is a fight he's been asking for so long, and they finally got a deal done. Not taking nothing from neither fighter because I know Spence is feeling the same way. I know Spence been training hard. Now that I say that, I feel like somebody got to knock somebody out in order for the fight to be decided.
Right.
Because you got two guys who are tacticians. You got two dudes that can brawl. You got two dudes who could, adjust to however another fighter fight.
Right.
Um, it's like I had to tell a guy the other day. It's not always about fundamental. It's about how you react. It's about where your is in the fight. Just like when Spence fought Sean Porter,
Yep.
Sean Porter wanted a dog fight with Spence, and he made Spence fight a dog fight. However, when Terence Crawford fought Porter, Bud wasn't letting no dog fight happen.
Right.
you know,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. He was
Porter,
using his length and his skill, his footwork and everything.
right. And Porter controlled that fight for the first few rounds until Bud just was like, you know what, enough is enough.
Yeah. And that's when he came out
But,
and switched on him.
right, exactly. Now that I said that, Bud can't go in there and fight that fight that he fought with Sean Porter.
Right.
Bud has to fight a fight where he know he has to stay ahead. Because if not, that's when Spence is going to dissect. Another thing, with the training, I feel like too Bud trained a little harder than Spence due to where he come from. Nebraska is a whole different altitude than a lot of these places, like here in Dallas. It's hot here. You breathe in a different type of air when you go to Nebraska.
Well, yeah.
It's
I went up there. What was it? 2 years ago for my cousin's wedding, and it was. Although it rained the second day we was there, it was like being here in Tulsa. It was muggy. It was hard to breathe a little bit at times. So yeah, I feel it.
right. And that you mentioned the Tank and Garcia situation also. It's a lot of you got a lot of Spence people, and I'm not gonna just say it's a one-sided thing because you got a lot of Bud fans, you got a lot of Spence fans.
Right.
But people feel, Spence fought harder fights than Bud. But at the same time, this man have fought in 3 different weight classes. This man's been undisputed.
Right. At 140.
Yeah. So it's in my opinion, I feel like Bud got more to prove because he wants to go get that undisputed put under his name. You know, he want to be up there with all the other greats, Sugar Ray, Robinson, Leonard, and all of them guys. Which
Right.
I mean, both guys are in it. They've submitted their legacies as top fighters, and you can't erase that.
Right.
They've both been proven. I feel like they can beat anybody in their divisions.
Oh yeah, definitely. The only person I can say in the welterweight division right now that'll give them any type of fight is Boots Ennis, and that's it.
Yeah.
And even though I feel like ultimately both fighters can beat Boots, I say that's only because Boots ain't had a chance to really be in a dog fight yet. Because everybody
Right.
don't want to fight him. You know, it's kind of like the Shakur thing. Don't nobody want to fight him. So
right. And see, and with that too, because I feel like with boxing ain't how it was when we was coming up. When you got called out, they made that fight happen.
Right.
I feel like with the money situation, like when Roy Jones, I'm gonna say probably our last actual fighter that went out there before all this money situation and negotiations. You got dudes that's really willing to go out there. They ain't worried about the money. They want the belts.
Right.
I feel like when Kell Brook fought Crawford, it was because he was trying to gain that notch back because he didn't have a title no more. He lost to Spence.
Right. Yep.
Watching the thing too, because they always say, well, Bud ain't fought nobody. But why haven't these guys called Bud out?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Bud, I remember a time where Bud wanted to fight these dudes with belts, but why y'all couldn't get a fight done? Why y'all couldn't get a deal done?
And you know, it's always something, you know, whether it's money related, whether it's timing related, and all that. And that's why I said, like you said, this fight could have took place, you know, 5 years ago. That's fine, but I think the thing that Spence wanted is he wanted that grand, you know, like every fighter has that one fight on their resume that is they remember him win or lose by, you know, like
Right.
Ali got Frazier, he got Foreman, you know,
Right.
Tyson, in his day, he got, you know, Holyfield, Lennox Lewis. He had a number of fights. You know, same thing with Lennox Lewis and all the guys that he beat. They all got that one fight on their record. I think that was the biggest thing, like with Floyd Mayweather too, because you had a lot of people. Are they gonna ever fight Pacquiao? Whether it was late or not, you still fought him. But
Right.
with this fight, both fighters prime. Both fighters are champion. Both fighters are undefeated, and this is undisputed. That's what makes this fight on a whole. That's what takes this fight on a whole different level.
Right. Right.
So, and what you said about like when people say that Crawford ain't fought nobody, I mean that's fine and fair, whatever they want to say. But he fought who was ever the champions in his weight class,
Right.
because
Correct.
you know, if you're moving up, you have to fight whoever the champion is. So,
Right.
when they say like Mikey Garcia moved up to 147, we all knew Mikey Garcia was too small for Spence, but he took on that challenge. So you sign a paper, you get in the ring, that's what happens. You know,
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
when we talk about the opponents that they share, a lot of people feel Crawford did better with the same opponents that they face, like with Sean Porter, Kell Brook, you know, those guys. They feel Crawford did better because he knocked them out and stopped them quicker. But a lot of people saying, you know, well, Kell Brook, damaged goods. Sean Porter, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. It's always something. And then when they say when like Spence fought him, you know, Sean Porter was still Sean Porter in his prime or on the back end of his prime, and Kell Brook, he was, you know, the champion, but he wasn't damaged yet and all of that. So
right.
For me, like I said, I favor Spence in the fight, and I say that because it's not. They both have something to prove, but with Spence, I think he's already proved that he can still do it after the car crash, because that was the main thing with him was he didn't want to take no tune-ups. He came back, he fought Danny Garcia right out the gate,
Right.
and I mean.
Right.
damaged him up. He broke his eye too. Um, and 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 that right there is a good fighter. You know, it's not like taking a tune-up. And
Right.
then he had the torn retina when he was about to fight Manny Pacquiao. Honestly, I thought he was gonna hurt Manny Pacquiao because the way he did Ugas was the way he did Ugas was bad. So
and when and that you said that too. Also, I feel okay. I feel like right before that car accident happened, it should have been a agreement on both sides. Let's throw this money situation out the way, because I kind of got the feeling of when Earl was saying the money situation, I kind of felt like it was a thing where he was saying, I want money because if I lose, I can say I got a bigger bag.
Right.
That's what I kind of got out of it, because it kind of pissed me off a little bit, because I'm like, bro, just take the fight. At this specific time, right before this pandemic happened, we got something to talk about for a long time.
Right.
You know? And I remember Bud signing a contract that was it was a $30 million contract. You get 15 for 2 fights. And I'm like, this is perfect.
Right.
But then you have the car accident, and then he got to shake back from that.
Right.
And then like you said, he had to take a fight to prove himself and build himself back up. And then right after that, he went and fought Sean Porter.
Right.
And he took Sean's belt, he strapped up. Right then and there, after that situation, they should say, you know what? Let's get this fight together. Spence is back. I don't want to see a fight where, I'm not gonna say if Spence lose. Let's just say Spence was to lose, right? And everybody say, well, he wasn't the same because of the car accident. If he was this fighter before the car accident,
right?
But at the same time, we didn't tell Spence to go doing 100 miles an hour in no Ferrari neither.
Yeah, right, exactly. But even if that was to come about as a narrative, it could be a false narrative right off the bat because of the way he came back. He came back. Exactly. He didn't fight any tune-ups. Like I said, he fought Danny Garcia. He fought, he fought fighters, top fighters when he came back. So
exactly,
some people will try to use that if that happens. But with me, I won't let it fly with me because I'm like, no, the way he fought Danny Garcia, the way he fought Yordenis Ugas was damn near perfect fights. And he looked good, exactly. Both of them. So that narrative for me, that's like, if he would have fought Crawford first coming off of that car accident, he probably would have lost. And he probably would have lost back. And that would have been the narrative like, oh, he was hurt, he was out, this and that. That would have been that then at that time. But we're removed from that now to where that narrative can't be, held up because he looks better. Both of them look in great shape. Both of them have fought great since then. So that's why I said the significance on this and where they're at and their careers, the prime form, physique-wise and everything. They're the only thing that they would pull out of this is who wanted it more. That's my opinion. Who wanted it more?
Right. I agree with that 100% because in any sport, the best is gonna show their best.
Right.
We can all be fans of either Bud or Crawford, but Bud or Spence. Everybody gonna say how they feel and say what they about one and the other. But living here in Dallas, like I've been ever since this thing been signed, sealed, and delivered, it's just been a whole Spence is gonna do this, Spence gonna walk this man down, all this. But I'm like, bro, I've never seen Terence Crawford get walked down.
Right.
Ever.
And even in his toughest fight, for me, his toughest fight was with Yuriorkis Gamboa. Even when he got stumbled in that round, he came back and knocked Yuriorkis out in the same round. And that's what I'm saying, like, and we one thing I want to say too is we have to consider the possibility of this going to the judges. The judges that they pick. So I don't know if you've seen it. I went to the Kambosos versus Maxie Hughes fight last weekend. The judge that called that fight a draw was I believe his name David Weisfeld. That guy right there, man. I don't know what he be watching, But to call that fight last weekend 114, and another judge called it 117, 111, when clearly Kambosos got outboxed. From bell to bell, he
Right.
got cut up and everything. Those are the judges we're
Right.
dealing with this weekend. So,
Right.
in my opinion, it would do both of these guys a favor at some point to try to go for the knockout, because I'm not trusting
Right.
the judges. And say like Crawford gets beat down and he makes it look like a fight, but he gets beat down. And we say, okay, we
Right.
clearly see Spence won, but it go to these type of judges, and these judges score a
Right.
draw. It's like,
Right.
did y'all do that for money? Are y'all banking on the second fight or a third fight? Call it like you see it and call it realistically. Like I said, that last fight, those judges, I couldn't agree with nothing what they pulled out for Kambosos. He lost that fight, and at best for Maxie Hughes, it was a draw. I don't know where they're scoring this fight and how they're gonna be scoring this fight. So that's something that I believe should be on both fighters' minds, is trying to, exchange and possibly go for the knockout at some point.
Right. And that you said that also, because I remember watching the Pacquiao and Bradley fight where there's no way Bradley beat me.
Yeah. Yep. I know somebody that won some money on that fight, and I was like, nah, you really lost that $100.
and with that too, I'm glad it's on a neutral ground, because I'm used to seeing fighters fight on neutral grounds, because now can't nobody say this happened, that happened, etc.
Oh yeah. This fight, is the type of fight that's too big to be in their homettowns anyway. It's not to say like the arenas they have are too big, but I mean it's like it's Vegas big. This is the pinnacle, so it has to be on neutral ground.
Right. And like I tell people, it's like I said, it's something about that dude from Nebraska, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's just when I actually watch both of them fight, Spence give me the more of a, who can I say? He give me more of a he give me more of a, who would I say? He give me a Sugar Ray Robinson type of feel in his fight, and like when he fought Kell Brook, and how he dissected Kell Brook in, but then when, like you said, when you watch Bud, how he dissected Kell Brook, these dudes, man, it's gonna go down to really the last man that got the most in them.
Yeah.
Whoever get wore down, that's who gonna lose.
Right. And see that right there, that's my thing, my take on it. And I've been telling people is like, you got to go back and watch Spencer's last fight. He came off a 14-month layoff, and you watch when he fought Ugas, round from the first bell, round to round to round, his punch output increased every round until the final bell.
Right.
And with Crawford's footwork, he should be able to move around and work around a lot of that. But the way Spence moves is he likes to cut off the ring. He likes to be on you and put that pressure on the body and going upstairs. That right there for me, because we can definitely agree they've never fought anybody like each other. But for me, I like that out of Spence, because you're not just throwing headshots. Like, you get a lot of fighters that try to throw headshots and try to get you messed up that way. Spence, he's tactical in throwing body shots and then going upstairs and then coming around the guard. That's why he broke that's why he's breaking everybody's orbitals and breaking ribs. He broke Ugas' ribs going to the body, then right back up stairs with it. So that right there, I feel like can be a way. If there was a stoppage in Spence's favor, he would have to try to figure out how to slow down Terence Crawford, because he does have amazing footwork, and it's going to be a tough task, and you have to figure that out.
Yeah, because too, and that you brought that up, man, being a southpaw and how Terence Crawford, it's like how he lure you in, because Terence Crawford do leave himself open, but he punish you with it, and at the same time, I want to know, I was watching some highlights of Spence, how a lot of dudes was catching him with hits that they should have really, if they had the power, knocked him out.
Right.
Bud got that in him.
Right.
But
Both hands.
he caught with none of those type of hits, because I think Bud would knock him out with though if he get caught with any kind of open opportunities. Bud gonna take it, and like you said with his footwork, man, he's real slimy in how he move in the ring. Because I remember him when he was fighting Benavidez.
Yeah.
How he was trying to close, and dude was just, it got to a point where it's kind of sickening to watch, because it's like you can't keep falling for that bait.
Right.
You bigger than this. You going in trying to kill him, and every time you're trying to go in there to kill him, he hitting you. And that's just like when he fought Sean Porter. After the 6th round, when Sean Porter kept trying to go in there and kill you, I'm like, bro, Bud smell blood, bro. He finna kill this dude. If his daddy don't stop this match, he possibly gonna be leaving on the stretcher.
Yeah, and that all revolves around the switch as well. And
right,
a lot of people were talking about Crawford, how he switches, and will that or will it not affect Errol Spence? In my opinion, I don't think it will, because he's fought both styles of fighters.
Right.
He's fought guys, but they don't switch nowhere near as great as Crawford, but he's fought guys who can switch. He fought southpaws, he fought orthodox. And the one thing that the one thing that is the biggest misconception with a lot of southpaws like Spence is the jab. If you look at the way he throws his jab and the way he sets it up, and let's just say his last 5 fights, he sets it up better than you've ever seen almost any southpaw set up the jab. And that right there is his way of breaking you down. A stiff jab, a smart jab, a tactical jab, and then coming around the guard, but going downstairs. And not only that, he'll reset and then cut the ring off if you try to move. So in my opinion, the first few rounds, I would say maybe 2 rounds, because I'm expecting fireworks. I would say at least the first 2 rounds, they come out, fill each other out, and this will be the round for Terence Crawford to fill out what Errol Spence is going to do, because he can switch. Errol Spence just has to stay focused and pay attention to the style that he comes out in each round, because he can come out 1 round orthodox, 1 round southpaw. So Errol Spence, he would have to be in more of a control and focus on what Terence Crawford is doing, and not just be reactive to what he's doing, but also be first with his jab.
Absolutely. Because I was watching when Terence Crawford was on the show with Gilly the Kid.
Yeah.
And they called Dan Garcia up, but at the same time, how Terence Crawford was explaining counter punching, but a lot of people kind of try to say Crawford ain't got no counter punch, but I'm like,
no, he can counter punch.
What's the conception of counter punching when this dude is showing you how he countered?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He knocked Jeff Horn with a mean left hand, and then took a couple mean hits from Jeff Horn, and it didn't budge. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, at the same time, Spence came, like you say, he cut off the ring, but this is a different fight of cutting the ring off. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like both fighters, if they trying to cut each other off in the ring, it's gonna turn into a brawl. They're gonna both go to just punches,
That's what I'm hoping.
And it's slug fest,
Yeah, I'm hoping at some point that happens, because I mean, this is where we're at. You want to see it, but then again, what we want to see may not be what their game plan is. We may see a little bit of that. We may see a lot of that. We don't know. We just have to wait and see. But ultimately, like I said, I think based on all that we talked about, all that I see out of Spence, I think this might go down to a split decision. And I'm basing that split decision solely off what the judges, who is judging this. And a lot of people are like, oh, don't blame the judges. I'm like, look at these judges' track records. I mean, they got the ones that they selected for this fight have some very questionable fights under their belts. And they got hundreds of fights, and there's a lot of questionable ones as of late.
And And you know what, and on that judge note too, because and I kind of blame referees sometimes because I've seen boxing matches where like Floyd Mayweather, for instance, was getting tagged and the ref is pushing the fight off, and I'm like, nah, ref, come on now. You know, this is a boxing match. You're going to get hit.
I can't remember.
What was these refs?
I can't remember the ref's name they got for this one, but I think it's a pretty decent ref. I have to look it up again. But yeah, I hope it's none of that. If they clinch and they ain't throwing punches, then break them up. But if they in the clinch and they throwing punches, let them fight out. I agree with that.
Right. Yeah, because like I said, man, I want to see a fair fight. I don't want to see no one-sided fight. Because like I said, living here in Dallas, man, I've seen it all and heard it all the past 3-4 days. It's Spence, but at the same time, any given time, we've seen great fighters. We've seen these great fighters that's being tuned out, that's not getting no love from fans, come out and win.
Right.
You know, I watch Manny Pacquiao, and they say, "Oh, Manny Pacquiao gonna lose to this fighter," but he go in there and knock him out. Right. That's like the Marquez situation. Pacquiao knocked him out the first time. It don't even matter no more. You know what I'm saying? Just like, and another reason too, I feel like Bud is gonna win because I think he gonna move up and go whoop that Charlo. I think he gonna go whoop Jermell Charlo. That's what I feel that's gonna happen.
Right. Well, we know we know the situation with Charlo because like he's locked in with the Canelo thing, and I ain't gonna lie, man, I'm pulling for him, but you know we'll see.
I think Canelo gonna beat him up. I think Canelo gonna beat him up, man.
Hey, look, man, I like Charlo, and you know I like Canelo, but you know it's just one of them things. Canelo has to fight David Benavidez, but you know that's another topic for another day, man. We'll go to that one day, whenever that happens. But
yeah, sure. But like you said, man, I want to see a great fight, man. I want to see both of them focus. I don't want to see no one-sided. This person scored this much because when we watch, we see what's landing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. The judges is just going off of whatever boxer shaking their head no. That's what I get from it because I've seen that.
Yeah.
A boxer say no,
and that's what happened at the Kambosos fight. He was saying no the whole time, and I'm like, no, you getting tagged, bro. Your eyes touch, you getting tagged. Calm it down.
Right. And that, like you said, that's all I want to see because, like I said, they both great fighters. But I'm tired of hearing the whole duck situation because we blame everybody one-sided, blaming Terence Crawford ducking Spence, but we got video footage of Terence Crawford in front of Spence saying, "Hey, I bet $1 million on it." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Let's make this a fight that and show the people who really the best is. Because, like I said, they both the best. They both undefeated. You know, they ain't been knocked out. They've been in dog fights. You know what I'm saying? But this is a fight. This is probably about the greatest fight since Marvin Hagler and them.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
You know,
that's what I said. It's pound for pound, arguably number 1, number 2, both champions, both undefeated, going for undisputed. This is a fight of the decade right here. Even probably fight of the last 20, 30 years. So I'm hoping, like you said, for a good fight all in all. If it comes down to the 12th round and say both fighters look still fresh, I'm hoping they just say to hell with it, go balls to the wall and just start throwing. Maybe not crazy, but just start going because they know they gotta push it. They know they gotta win those championship rounds. Those are the rounds. It get that far. Those are the rounds that'll definitely tell you, like you said, who wants it more. Because 10, 11, and 12, that right there is going to be the bigger outcome on potentially who wins the fight or if it's a draw or whatever they call it.
Right. Because I just feel too, man, and that you said that on that note, man. I think it's a 2-fight deal, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, I want to see Crawford 2-time undisputed because that in 2 different weight classes, that's damn near unheard of.
Right.
But like I said, man, these dudes, they've been going to work, man, and hyping the world up and I hope they just give us a show that we can talk about for years to come, because boxing is really watered down nowadays.
Yep.
And it's probably two of our last great fighters.
Yep.
And give credit to Tank because he running his division right now. But I just feel like, man, solidify the welterweight division, bro. Because it's been many great fighters in this division. Yep. And man, show these dudes and I want the older ones to give them their respect too, because this sport is hard. This sport is dangerous, man. They putting their lives out on this and leaving the ring. And like I was heard Bud say the other day, man, it took for him to actually call and have a conversation with Errol Spence and not bring it to the media, because we know the media hype a lot of this BS up.
Yep.
And that's why a lot of these people are one-sided due to the fact. But like I said, man, watching both of them work and what they've done for their division, man, this is a fight. Like I said, it should have happened 5 years ago when they was both fresh and on streets and whooping their division, man.
Yep. So before we get out of here, all in all, how do you see it? Final bell.
I see, but I don't want to say by decision, because I kind of feel like that's what it's going. But I want to say Bud with the stoppage.
Okay. Any specific round, late or early?
I want to say late 9th round.
Okay. All right, man. I'm gonna stick with mine. I gotta ride with a decision, split decision.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Errol Spence by close split decision, and of course they're gonna fight again. So, but yeah, that's all I got, man. I appreciate you giving me your take.
Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
All right, we'll be back in the future.
All right, bro.
All right, take care.
You too, bro.